Remember Julie Andrews singing "A spoonful of sugar helps the medicine go down" in the most delightful way?
Was that the Sound of Music?
That was The Sound of Music.
Yes.
But isn't it nice when we don't have to take a bitter medication or swallow a big horse pill when we're sick? Well, here's a nutritional treatment that prevents bacterial infections. It's organic cranberry juice for urinary tract infections, and it's often questioned as to whether it's myth or scientific fact. So we're going to talk about the new findings with cranberry juice.
Okay. Well, it's been around probably 100 years in nutritional medicine, and it seems to help people who have urinary tract infections. So that in itself should be sufficient to say, well, if it works in that, why would you use something that has a much more powerful effect that has side effects? So cranberry juice is something that is well established in nutritional medicine.
Well, now they've found also, besides preventing infections, it can also hinder the bacteria from sticking to the walls of the urinary tract, as well as a few other things.
Right. So when you're taking cranberry juice in, it coats the bacteria in a way, and these studies were done on E. coli, which are frequently seen in urinary tract infections. And when that happens, it coats them so they can't stick. And if they can't stick, then they can't dig in. Now, the new things that have been found that were published in the Canadian Journal of Microbiology in July of 2013 show that it also changes the ability of the bacteria to move. So
it doesn't spread so much.
So the infection won't spread. And a lot of this is thought to be the proanthocyanidins. It's kind of a long word that's in cranberry that helps this from, or keeps this from happening.
Well, also it reduces an enzyme that's in the bacteria called urease that keeps the infection from being so virulent.
Right, an interesting finding.
But this is all such great news because so many antibiotics are resistant. You know, the bacteria are resistant to the antibiotics, so it's nice to have an alternative.
Well, plus, why would you want to use a powerful antibiotic that has a lot of side effects and always affects the problems that we see in the gastrointestinal tract? When the gastrointestinal tract microflora is changed by these antibiotics, it changes our ability to boost immunity and to have healthy digestion and healthy nutrition.
So is just drinking a few glasses of cranberry juice enough, or do you need to take an extract or a powder or something?
You want to stay away from the juice because it's usually full of high fructose corn syrup. You know, cranberry is a little bit bitter, but it can be taken as a powder and it can be taken as d-mannose, which is a non-metabolizable sugar that is in cranberry juice that seems to have a lot of these effects we're talking about.
One of the things that impressed me is that now, because of these studies, they're thinking of even infusing the silicone catheters with it to prevent infections, because many times people get bladder infections from the catheter.
Right, or on other devices like pacemakers or other implantable devices, you can impregnate the silicone with cranberry extract, and there you are. You may have a way of lowering the risk for developing an infection. So cranberry juice is something that we should all be thinking about rather than powerful medicines.
Well, it's also a pretty healthy juice. I mean, it's high in vitamin C and beta-carotene and calcium and sodium and fiber and
these nice proanthocyanidins.
Yeah, so, and it's good for our immunity. It's got a good antioxidant ability. And I've also read that it can maybe prevent carcinogens.
Maybe. That's something that people are talking about in theory, and it's something to think about.
And be good for heart disease.
It might be. Yeah, there's some studies on that.
And for tooth decay. There's other things besides just the genital urinary tract.
And we may find that there are other infections in the body that sometime we'll study and see if it works.
And it's also good for raising your HDL, which is your good cholesterol, and preventing kidney stones. So it's a pretty healthy juice as a choice.
Well, it's food, right? If Mother Nature makes it and we can consume it safely, it's probably a lot better than taking things that are synthetic or artificial to try and get the effect.